I'm having dynamite sex. I'm the healthiest I've ever been.
Whatever stereotype you're gonna try to put on me isn't gonna fit, that's for sure.
Because there's no stopping me.
Ask your healthcare provider if Biktarvy is right for you, and visit Biktarvy.com to view the important facts, including important warnings.
Hello there, welcome to Plus Talk on Plus Life, where we're all about turning positive into a plus. Today we continue the conversation of sex, sexuality, and how you get your mojo back after being diagnosed. How important is it to allow yourself to have that grieving time and to go, okay, I've got to work through this? Because a lot of people, we live in this, I talk about this all the time, we live in this world where everyone's got to be happy. We've all got to be thankful. We've all got to be happy, happy, happy all the time. And I just go, bullshit, because I don't think that's healthy. What is your take on allowing yourself that time to, as I say, sit on the floor and throw a tantrum before you get up?
Well, I think everybody's different, but it's understanding that this is a grieving process. And, really being honest with oneself about, I'm going to have waves of it. It's like waves. You're going to have a moment where you're forgetting about it, or a moment where it just hits you like lightning, and then it's overwhelming. But that's normal. This is typical with what happens with any type of grief. So it's just really being honest with yourself and accepting this is going to take some time, and knowing how it kind of works in terms of, the grief process.
And I think it's, one of the things I remember saying early on, especially to people that I was perhaps going to engage sexually with, is, and it's based on science and fact, is having sex with me is probably safer than having a random hookup with anybody else off any of these apps, because I know my status and my health is constantly being checked. Michelle, I mean, for you, we're sort of about you're almost a year into your diagnosis. So this is still a relatively new process for you. What have the building blocks looked like for you to get back to that sex positive, I love to have sex kind of person that you are? What have you been doing to get back to that?
I joined this app. It's called Positive Singles. So I got on that app, and it was like my confidence was so low when I first signed up, but getting to meet other people with my status, it was groundbreaking how many people were still interested in me. I found myself crying over this, like, oh, I'm still attractive. I'm still wanted. I'm still sought after. I'm still desired. And it was just the best feeling. And then meeting these people and sharing stories and getting to get close to some of these people enough to kind of heal that trauma that comes with the diagnosis. Because when I tell you I had to go through this 5 stages of grief twice, because I was in the middle of a divorce when I was diagnosed. And that was rough for me.
Absolutely.
That was very rough.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's 2 lots of
It's
bad
a
news.
lot going on at one time in terms of trauma.
Yes.
What about
Yes.
you? What about you, Cameron? Sort of the building blocks. Your mojo's back. We're happy to hear it, but because it's hard. How do you start to look at yourself and go, I'm sexy again?
I think, it comes with honesty. When when you're there, because you can feel like, I'm going to be, very open about it. I like who I see in the mirror, and
Right.
and this sense of community. I mean, that's exactly what I think, helped you.
But did your horniness disappear? Sorry to be so blunt, Cameron, but I guess we're having this conversation. But no, like we say mojo, okay?
Yeah.
But you were sick. You had all of that going on. Then you found this out. I mean, obviously, being sick can kill your mojo, right? But then now you find out you're HIV positive. Were you into even yourself, let alone the thought of other people?
For a couple months, no. For a couple months, I was quite literally so weak. I couldn't get out of bed. It was closed for business. We are, it's completely MIA. And then when I finally got my diagnosis,
sorry to cut you off. That's the physical side.
Yeah.
I want to think more about your mental side though, and going, well, I'm kind of horny today. Or were you just so drained because of all the physical stuff?
For the first few months, I was just incredibly drained. When I started to sort of feel that like inkling again, it was like, okay, like let's, start with like masturbating and whatnot, because I need to, achieve undetectable status and all of that, all of those things that come with. Not only was I like physically tired, but I think I was also very, you're emotionally tired, you're traumatized, you're trying to like work through everything. So for me, I was just like, I didn't even have the desire to masturbate. And my first sort of thoughts for the first few months of diagnosis, or the first few weeks of diagnosis, was like, is this going to be my normal? Am I just like, we've said like we felt very broken, and that is very much what I felt. And it's interesting because obviously everybody moves at different paces, and there's different people go through different walks and to get to their journeys. And but I really think that like for me it was one day I just woke up and I was like, that's not going to be it. Like it's not. And I'm gonna have a very different life moving forward, but I can't sit there and be like, oh, it's gonna be sad the rest of my life. And nobody's ever gonna want me. Nobody's ever gonna do this. It really took a lot to like pull myself out of that sort of emotional and physical rut to then be like, you know what? Like no better time than the present to like get back on the saddle
Get back on the so to
and
speak.
really, yeah, get back on the saddle, so to speak, and really try to, it's like, okay, if my life's going to be different, it will be different, but it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, and
And it's
obviously,
going to be fulfilled.
yeah, and we have the knowledge of the undetectable equals untransmittable, which we want everyone to try and get to that undetectable status. Michelle, if I may pry a little, what was that kind of first, how did you feel when you finally kind of came back into it and went, okay, I'm going to engage in some form of sexual activity, whether it was with yourself or with a partner or something? How did you feel in that moment? Were you nervous that maybe it wasn't going to feel the same or work the same? I mean, or were you like, stuff it, let's do it?
I said, it. I'm just gonna have sex. Let's go. Let's go. Like, come on, I'm ready. Because I've always just been that person. That's always been me. And I realized after a couple months I was denying myself the very thing that made me me.
Yeah.
And that's just the very
Yeah.
sex positive sexual being.
Were you
And
nervous? Were you nervous to re-engage?
I was actually very nervous. It's like I had to get to know my body again.
Mhm.
It's a strange feeling going through that. But being able to connect with people that are HIV positive in that manner, like sexually, I had to sort of take things slow, like start off with massages and cuddling and things of that nature instead of just let's bang and get it over with.
We should point out that, fabulous sex doesn't necessarily need to have genital contact, right?
No, not at all. I realized what I was wanting was intimacy with the person, and just cuddling and talking about how our HIV makes us feel. And it's very liberating for me. It's very liberating for other people I see as well.
It's very intimate when you
There's
have
something
that.
intimate about
Yes.
being able to talk about your HIV,
Yes.
right?
And there's a
be
huge
able to
connection with it.
then you're right. There's a point where you're connecting with it because it's a deeply personal thing to share this still because of the stigma.
And it's interesting too because you're having a conversation, so personal, and it really does add to a depth of connection with somebody else, and it's extremely intimate.
Yeah. Cameron, Michelle, in the last few sort of moments we've got on this great topic, and thank you all for being so just open and honest. This question is for both of you. I'll start with you, Cameron. What would you say to somebody who is newly diagnosed, who feels alone and that, that's it. I'm never going to have sex again. I don't even want to masturbate. I'm so gross. What would your words of encouragement as someone who's living with HIV be? And Michelle, the question will go to you once Cameron's done answering.
Honestly, I think if I was talking to somebody, if somebody was asking me all of that, I would honestly just say to them, like, look at me. Like, I'm very fulfilled in my personal life. I'm having dynamite sex. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. You're just I think you just need that piece of representation to look at. You just need that one person, that person who's going to show you empathy and tell the truth to you and tell it to you straight, which is like, it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a hell of a journey, and everybody is going to go through it at different stages and different at different speeds, but you will get to where you are meant to be. And, it's one of those things where if this was 35 years ago or whatnot, it'd be a very, very different conversation that we're having right now. Now it's like, if somebody is saying like, no one's going to desire me, no one's going to do this. It's like, there are people out there who are going to love you no matter what. And there are people who are going to, find you attractive. There is nothing that is going to hold you back that wasn't holding you back before. Like, nothing has changed. Yes, you have a different status, but at the same time, how you choose to live your life and the people you surround yourself with and the support systems you put in are going to help elevate you to have that happy life that maybe you thought was gone when you got that diagnosis. But at the same time, those people who are surrounding you are going to continue to lift you up, and you are then going to lift people up, and it is going to become a chain where people are just going to be supportive of one another. And I think, just like one really quick thought, I think in the span of when we were talking about trying to, get our like mojo back and things like that, I think at the end of the day, you just need one person to show you empathy and kindness to really start that going again. Like, for instance, for me, I was, I went on the app and was like, okay, I'm going to disclose to somebody. This is going to be it's like very nerve wracking. The person was like, you know what? Doesn't matter. Like, all good. So like we had a great time, and it was interesting because they asked me like, you mentioned it was like a newer diagnosis. How are you dealing? And it was the first person I had like spoken to about it, really. And the first person who made me feel very, very comfortable. And to this day, they've now become like their family to me.
Great.
And you just need that one person that's going to really show you that everything is okay. It's one thing to read about or like hear, like, it's going to be good, but to actually experience that one piece of empathy to help you on that road to being like, yes, I can live a healthy and fulfilled life. That, no diagnosis is going to deny me that.
I love that. Yeah. What about you, Michelle? What pearls of wisdom would you share?
I would share some of what Cameron was saying, because I met someone on that site that I mentioned earlier who knew I was newly diagnosed. I posted it on my profile, and we exchanged numbers, and it was like he would call me every morning and FaceTime me just to have conversation, just to put a smile on my face. He would literally just sit on the phone and make funny faces at me, and that's like, I love that. And I try to give that to others now. Like, if I see someone on the site that's newly diagnosed, I will reach out.
That's great.
It's fabulous. Sense of encouragement, and that really does help, especially like when you see somebody, you go, like what you said, Cameron, when the way you were talking, I was imagining being in, your shoes and, looking at you and having you speak the way you were speaking, that is serious, encouragement, and for both of you. And it's so wonderful when you get to a certain place and then you give it back. I think that's huge.
Yeah, well, listen, I want to thank all of my guests. Dr. Carrie Jacobs, thank you for coming into studio. Cameron Chase in Toronto, thank you. Michelle Williams, thank you guys so much for just being really open and honest. And, hopefully if someone is in the position that we've all been in, watches this episode and can get a little strength from hearing our conversation, then we've done our jobs here today. Thank you all very, very much. That is going to do it for this episode of Plus Talk. Remember, if you want more information, you can go to the website pluslifemedia.com and be sure to follow us across social media platforms. We are at Plus Life Media. We'll put all our guests' social tags there as well. Until next time, stay happy, be nice, have sex.